All right, it looks like we're talking another mock draft. This one's coming from Todd McShay. Let's take a look at who he has the New York Jets selecting. Jets, Jets, Jets! Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, we are looking at another mock draft. This one coming from Todd McShay, one of ESPN's most accredited draft analysts. So we're going to take a look at it. Let's see who he has the New York Jets selecting. I actually want to go through all the picks. We'll go through, and after this airs, I'll put little timestamps for each one of the picks. So if you're a fan of not the Jets, you'll be able to see some of that too. So let's pull up his mock draft. All right, so at number 1 overall, he has the Jacksonville Jaguars going with tackle Evan Neal out of Alabama. This guy has a bunch of positional flexibility. He has played guard and tackle at Alabama and at a high level. So this makes a lot of sense. I think the Jaguars are going to try and protect their investment in Trevor Lawrence as well as their investment in Travis Etienne, both first-round picks from just last year. At number 2, he's got Aiden Hutchinson going to the Detroit Lions. This one just seems like it makes a lot of sense. I think the Michigan team wants to keep the Michigan product in Michigan. So Hutchinson here makes a ton of sense. I do think they need quarterback, but I think that's something they may try to look at pick 32 at the end of this draft. So we'll see where they wind up going. Okay, so he has Kyle Hamilton going 3rd to the Texans. This is not the first time we've seen Kyle Hamilton going 3 overall, and I'm all about it because I want one of these edge rushers to really fall down to us. And Hamilton's a special character, or not a special character, but a special player. They call him a unicorn caliber prospect, and I think there's probably, I don't know, there's a lot of fans that would be on board with this selection for the New York Jets, and I'm definitely happy he's gone beforehand because I don't really want to go safety, and I understand why people may want him at 4 if he's there, especially if the 2 edge rushers are gone. But this means Kayvon Thibodeau is falling to the Jets, and he has them taking Ikem Ekwonu. So this is an interesting dilemma that we talked about on the live stream with Green Bean and O'Leary, and I'm not sure how I would go with this because I like Icky a lot, but I also like Kenyon Green, and I like Zion Johnson, and I like some of the other potential of offensive linemen that you could nab maybe at pick 10. I like Icky a lot. I just don't know if I would pass on Thibodeau for him. I think it depends on how you feel about the rest of the edge rushers, because if you're passing on Thibodeau here, I really think you got to take an edge rusher at number 10. So Icky goes to the Jets at 4. I don't hate the pick, but it's just maybe a little questionable. Let's see. Next pick. This makes sense. Kayvon Thibodeau goes to the Giants. They get an elite edge rusher to their roster. I think they probably go offensive line. I would say these 2 picks, 4 and 5 in Todd McShay's mock draft, could be flip-flopped. Like I could see the Jets going Thibodeau and the Giants going Ekwonu, so this makes sense to me. They need help on both sides of their lines. Carolina, going with Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. Getting all sorts confused right now. I am surprised to see him at pick 6. I really am. I think Sauce is the best cornerback in this draft. Going to the Panthers after they just took J.C. Horn in the first round last year. They just loading up on first round cornerbacks. I think there's probably other areas of need for them, so I'm a little surprised they pulled the trigger in the top 10 on a cornerback. But I like Sauce. I think he should be the first cornerback off the board. Number 7, Charles Cross to the Giants. So they help out their defensive line with Kayvon Thibodeau, and then they come back and they select what might be the best pass-blocking tackle in the class in Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. I think this makes a ton of sense for the New York Giants. So this is a solid pick for them. Number 8, the Falcons select Drake London, the USC receiver. This is someone that the Jets have had mocked to them quite a few times. 6'5", gonna be an athletic specimen. I think he's gonna blow up the combine this year. Could be like a Mike Evans type of caliber receiver. He had the most contested catches across all of college football last year, and he only played in 8 games. So I really, really like Drake London a lot. If they're taking a wide receiver at number 8, I think there's a strong likelihood that they did trade Calvin Ridley. So I'm curious to see where that ends up and how that could potentially affect how these wide receivers fall. Number 9, Devin Lloyd out of Utah. Love me some Devin Lloyd. This is a guy that should be on the Jets' radar, but I don't think we're going to take him in the first round. And it's just because, like, linebacker, it's a huge need for us, but it's not a top 10 pick need for us. I also don't think the Broncos end up making this pick at 9. I do think they wind up trading with the Packers. So the Packers would end up at the 9th spot. I'm not exactly sure who they'd target there, but I do like Devin Lloyd. I think he's definitely worthy of a top 10 pick, just not for the New York Jets. Oh, man! No! I really, really don't like Derek Stingley. If you're telling me, are you going to get the production of Derek Stingley from 2019 or whatever, his first freshman year, then I'd be okay with it. But he's literally done nothing like the last 2 years. I'm not taking an injury-prone potential player in the top 10. I would be so mad at this selection. I would be really, really upset. He has elite potential. He really does. But I would be upset if we took anyone other than Sauce Gardner in the top 10. And I'm not even very high on cornerback in the top 10 in general. I think going cornerback in the top 10 implies that you have a very strong, I shouldn't say very strong, but you have a very defense, all right, you have a defense that's focused on cornerback. And I don't think that's where we're at. I think we are definitely more edge rushers. So you're telling me we're getting an offensive lineman and we're not addressing pass rush when pass rush is the most important thing to Robert Saleh's defense? I don't buy this at all. I would be so upset if I was the New York Jets. What else we got? Okay, Kenny Pickett going to the Commanders at number 11. I think that makes a lot of sense. Quarterback seems like the dead lock at number 11. It's just a matter of who winds up making the pick or what player winds up going there, and does anyone try to trade up to number 10? Because I would be looking to trade down if we're taking Derek Stingley at number 10. Trent McDuffie goes to the Vikings. I've seen, he's been mocked to the Jets at 10, so I guess you can see him that high, but I've seen him go as far down as the late 20s. I don't know. So he's 3 cornerbacks going in the top 12. I would be surprised if that's how this wound up shaking out. I don't particularly, I shouldn't say I don't like the cornerbacks. I do. I would be surprised if we had 3 go in the top 12 and only 2 edge rushers. That seems slanted. Garrett Wilson going to the Browns. Interesting. They are going to lose Jarvis Landry. He's going to be a cap casualty, whether they trade him or they just outright cut him. They save $15 million against the salary cap, so this makes a ton of sense. And Garrett Wilson may be the best receiver in this class. And not to mention they just lost Odell Beckham Jr. in a cut. So he's with the Rams. So they could use a wide receiver, and keeping the Ohio State product in Ohio is kind of cool. There's our boy, Tyler Linderbaum, going to the Baltimore Ravens. I've seen a few people project the Ravens and Jets trading. So the Ravens coming up from 14 to 10 because of the Joe Douglas connection to get Linderbaum at 10. But I think this makes sense. I think if he's going to be there at 10, he's probably going to be there at 14. So it doesn't make sense to trade up. So I do like this pick. I think it makes a lot of sense. Protect your running quarterback. Protect Lamar Jackson. Up next, the Dolphins get Nakobe Dean. I really like Nakobe Dean. He is no. It's the Eagles. Yeah, Eagles get Nakobe Dean via the Dolphins trade. Words are hard. I like Nakobe Dean a lot. So I guess that makes sense. Philadelphia's got 3 first-round picks in this little burst here. So that's the first one. Who's the next one they wound up taking? So they take Trayvon Walker out of Georgia as well. So they're just loading up on the Georgia prospects, right? Nakobe Dean and edge rusher Trayvon Walker. Okay. All right. I think you could always use edge rushers. Barnett is a free agent this year, I believe. So not the worst thought there. The Steelers trading up with the Chargers to get Malik Willis. So that means they're jumping in front of the Saints. They think the Saints might pull the trigger on the quarterback, and they do have Matt Corral going number 18 to the Saints here. So this would be interesting. This little run on quarterbacks from 11, 17, and 18. Hopefully there's a little bit of a bidding war and people want to come up to 10, because I think that's what I would be selling all day here. They have Treylon Burks going to the Eagles at number 19. I like Treylon Burks a lot. I think he's a Deebo Samuel clone. I think that's probably, his floor. I think he could go higher than that. It wouldn't be a shock if he was the first receiver off the board. I feel like the top 3 receivers in Garrett, London, and Burks are all kind of clumped together for me. Jameson Williams would have been my number 1 overall wide receiver, but not having, not having 2 ACLs intact kind of puts a damper on that. Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle, going to, the Chargers. Okay. All right. I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Jordan Davis. I have not done any research on defensive tackle in the first 2 rounds in the slightest. All right. Where are we? What am I missing here? 20, Jordan Davis. Where's this next one? Okay. Cornerback Kyler Gordon goes to Washington, or goes to the New England Patriots at pick 21. They may be losing J.C. Jackson, so it's entirely possible. They did just lose Stephon Gilmore, so I could see them adding cornerback depth. Chris Olave to the Raiders. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Wide receiver didn't feel like a major need for them. I know one of my Raiders buddies fans is hoping against all hope that they do trade for a big-time wide receiver, so I guess he'd know better than me. That's interesting. Jermaine Johnson, guy I really like. I would have no problem taking Jermaine Johnson at 10, or a few of these different edge rushers. But he goes to the Cardinals at number 23. That probably means they're looking to move on from Chandler Jones, and this would be their replacement for him. Dallas getting David Ojabo. Apparently Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence? No. DeMarcus Lawrence. There's the word. DeMarcus Lawrence, their edge rusher. Highly likely could be a cap casualty along with Amari Cooper. So they select the heir apparent to him at pick 24. The Bills go with a cornerback, Andrew Booth out of Clemson. Are they losing a cornerback? Am I missing something? Because they had one of the best secondaries in all of football. Why would they just kind of double down on that? Maybe they're losing someone. I'm going to have to do a little more research on that one. George Karlaftis going to the Tennessee Titans at pick 26. Former defensive player Mike Vrabel is going to like adding the Purdue prospect. Karlaftis, I've seen mocked as high as number 4 to the New York Jets, so it seems like no one has any idea where these edge rushers are going to end up going. Number 27, you got Jameson Williams going to Alabama. Alabama always pumping out the wide receivers. And Tampa Bay gets a great one in Jameson Williams. They're going to have to let him sit probably for the first month or so of the season because he did tear that ACL, but they are losing Chris Godwin, who they would have had to let sit for a little bit anyway because he tore his ACL. So I do like that pick for them. Devontae Wyatt to Green Bay. I apologize. I just don't know enough about the defensive tackles. It just doesn't tickle my pickle. Trevor Penning, the tackle from Northern Iowa, going to the 49ers, going to the Dolphins. The Dolphins got that pick from the Trey Lance trade up. I probably should have looked at this beforehand. Trevor Penning, this is someone that a lot of Jet fans are all sorts of gushing over from the Senior Bowl. Guy is, I think he was ranked the number 1 overall tackle this season, according to Pro Football Focus. So them getting a tackle at the back end of the first round with that kind of upside is really good. And I like that because I'm worried they might take a tight end. If Gesicki winds up leaving, Trey McBride at number 29 is a position that I think they could definitely look to go, especially with the 49ers. Mike McDaniel going into Miami. They may want to emulate that Kittle kind of connection down there. Kansas City going John Dotson. Really like him. I think he's one of the better receivers in this class, so I'm a little disappointed that he goes in the first round, but I think that could make a ton of sense for the Chiefs. Tackle Bernard Ryman, the product from Central Michigan, going to the Bengals. If there's one thing we saw over the course of the playoffs, it's that Joe Burrow needs offensive linemen. Every single pick for the Bengals this offseason should go offensive line. Just go all the way across the board, bring in 7 guys that can all compete for 5 positions. With your current roster, just don't care. You got the weapons, you got the quarterback, you got the running back, you got everything else. You got $57 million in salary cap space. Just protect your quarterback. Don't let him take those knee shots like you saw in the Super Bowl. And then at the back end of the first round, it looks like he has the Lions going, Sam Howell, the quarterback out of North Carolina. So 4 quarterbacks going in the first round. I think if you were to tell people that maybe just a month ago, they'd say you're a little crazy. I don't see 4 quarterbacks going in the first round. But now with the Lions at pick 32, you get that benefit of the 5th-year option instead of waiting just 2 more picks or 3 more picks or whatever it is in the second round. So it does make sense for them to pull the trigger on the quarterback here. Now, Howell was considered a top-level quarterback going into this season. So they may be getting a really high upside guy. So overall, when I'm looking at this mock draft, I'd have to say I'm pretty upset with how this wound up shaking out. I like Ickey at 4, but I don't like Ickey if you're passing on the edge rusher. And then at number 10, you're passing on every other edge rusher to take a cornerback when we don't really emphasize the cornerback position. So I don't really love this mock draft. I'd be a little upset if this is the way this all shook out. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.